Alrighty, I low-key have to speed run this guess the Banzuke because it is 45 minutes until I have to submit my answers because I'm lazy and I could have done this weeks ago, but I always leave it off to the last second, just like I did with my homework back when I was a kid in high school. So let's go quickly through uh, all of these guys with winning records, highlight them green. All the guys with losing records, highlight them red. And then all the guys with middling records, like those 7 and 8s, we'll highlight them in orange. And there are a lot of 7 and 8s. And the reason why we're going to highlight them in orange is because they may or may not move down the Banzuke. Whereas, the guys in green will move up, the guys in red will move down. Unfortunate that both Seki Wake are going to be falling down when they had a chance for Ozeki, but hey, that means we have a new crop of guys moving up for that chance at Ozeki. Let me just unhighlight some of these guys. Takeyasu might survive at Komusubi, honestly, which might be the funniest outcome if that's what we're going to be looking for. Let's see, who else were losers? Lots of 7 and 8s this Banzuke. It's actually kind of crazy how many 7 and 8s there were. But this is after the London tournament too. I wasn't really watching any of that. I watched a couple of days, and what I saw, you can kind of tell they were going half speed. They weren't really taking it like they wanted to hurt each other, but it looked like it was fun for what it was, as it usually is. So first things first, let's see who are these Juryo dropouts going to be. Obviously, Nishikigi dropping out. We're going to have Hitoshi probably surviving, but we'll see. Sadano Umi, I don't know why it's 6'9", 2025 for him. Meisei maybe survives. Takeru Fuji maybe drops out. And it looks like we might have two, maybe a third dropout out of Juryo. But we have to see who is going to be moving up. We have Osho Umi and Chiyoshoma obviously right there. Nishiki Fuji 11 and 4 probably forces the issue and bumps Hitoshi down and out. And I think that's going to be the main thing. So because we have three guys definitely coming up, Asa Hakudu, that 13 and 2 from Juryo 11, he's probably going to get snubbed. Sanoyama 12 and 3, they're going to be both sitting at Juryo 1 most likely. Maybe even Fuji Seiyun is going to be up there too. But we have to have Osho Umi and Chiyoshoma. We're definitely going to have Nishiki Fuji, or maybe Chiyoshoma gets snubbed, or maybe Hitoshi does fall down. I think that's probably what's going to happen. Hitoshi down to like Juryo 1 or something. But these guys are definitely going to be occupying those bottom slots of the Banzuke. So the first thing I want to do is put up, Nishiki Fuji, Maegashira 17, Osho Umi, and then Chiyoshoma will drop down Hitoshi. I know 7 and 8 I said just a few minutes ago. Maybe not fall up or down, but I think in this case, he wasn't as lucky as Shishi in how the rest of the Banzuke fell around or below him, so I think he might fall out. Let's go back up to the top, though. Ono Sato, of course, stays where he is. Shoru stays where he is. Koto Zakura stays where he is. Wakataka Kage and Kirishima are both going to be moving down, but Aonishiki is going to be moving up. Takeyasu likely stays the same, because who can really replace him? Nobody, really. Oho is probably going to leapfrog back up to Sekiwake. And then the next guy, Haku Oho, up to Komusubi? Maybe it's Takanosho leapfrogging everyone up to Komusubi. I think they give the nod back to Takanosho after that fantastic tournament he has. I think that's going to be a risky guess. But again, after that amazing tournament Takanosho had, probably going to give him Komusubi. It's a little bit of a jump too far down. So let's at least move Haku Oho up to around Maegashira 1. I think both of these Sekiwake will likely fall down to Maegashira 1. Oho, I already have him leapfrogging. Tamawashi is going to move down a few slots. Abi, meteoric fall, probably going to fall down to like Maegashira 9 or 10. We can check the math on that later. Haku Oho and Oho, I already covered them. Atami Fuji, probably going to fall those full 5, maybe even 6. Gonoyama, yeesh. 1 and 14. That is atrocious. 1 and 14 for Gonoyama. It's hard to say where he might stop. Maybe Maegashira 15, maybe Maegashira 14. I don't know. But again, we'll check the math on that later. Hirado Umi and Wakamoto Haru. Wakamoto Haru is definitely going to leapfrog him. So I'm going to put Wakamoto Haru probably right here. Hirado Umi below him and below Tamawashi. Haku Oho slots in at Maegashira 2 pretty nicely. Wait, no, he has to move up. What happens here? I think Haku Oho might bump these guys down. We could see something like this. Wakataka and Kirishima, Maegashira 1 and 2. Haku Oho leapfrogging over them. Or maybe he does take that Komusubi spot. I don't know. That's probably where some contention is going to be. I might be one of the only guys taking Takanosho in that slot. But we'll see. Where did we leave off? Abi, or Atami Fuji, Konoyama, Hirado Umi, Wakamoto Haru. We already fit those guys in. Koto Shoho, Ichi Yamamoto. They're going to be falling down a little bit together. Koto Shoho is going to be falling below Ichi Yamamoto, -10, probably near that bottom of the Banzuke. Ichi Yamamoto will stay on top of him, though, so we'll put them kind of next to each other. Onokatsu, we'll keep him kind of the same spot. Kusano, Uda is going to leapfrog Kusano and Oshoma. Let's put him right up there. Oshoma is going to leapfrog Kusano. Kusano moves up a rank and a half. You know, that looks like that fits. Shodai is going to leapfrog Churano Umi. Churano Umi can fit right up there. You know, that looks fine. You know, it kind of works itself out. I'm going a little fast right now because I kind of want to get my guesses in. I mean, I am going a little too fast. It's only been 5 minutes and I'm halfway done with this Banzuke, but sometimes it just works out like that. Yeah, like you look at the rest of the winners and losers on this Banzuke, and it looks like it's going to just fit in nicely around each other. Keen Bozan could likely stay the same spot, and that means we could have these Maegashira 7s. Maybe we're a bit easier on Atami Fuji and Abi on their falls. I mean, maybe, actually. Let's take the time to query the Banzuke on that one. So, rank Maegashira 1, 3, oops, not year 3. 3 and 12, let's see. Maegashira 5, 6, 7, looks like lots of 8s, 9s, and 10s. So, Maegashira 7, maybe it's not that far outside of the realm of possibility for Abi. You know, he could fall there. And then same thing with Atami Fuji. Let's go back and ask the Banzuke what it thinks. Atami Fuji was Maegashira 3 with a 5 and 10. A little less harsh, but Abi definitely falls below him, I think. We have Maegashira 4 even, 5, 6, a lot of 6s, a lot of 7s. A lot of 7s. Maegashira 8. It looks like the median is Maegashira 7. So Atami Fuji could fit perfectly right there. So kind of works out like that. Then we have Midori Fuji could stay the same spot. Daieisho could stay the same spot. Fujinokawa is going to move down a few ranks. Churano Umi already put him up to Maegashira 6. Shodai put him up to Maegashira 5. Those are natural climbs for those guys. They're going to be moving up. Then Roga, Maegashira 11. Maybe we could be a little bit easier on Fujinokawa. I don't know. We'll actually put Fujinokawa on the outside for now, because we do have a couple of winners that do need to move up. It's just a matter of, like, will Shishi leapfrog Tobizaru, or will, like, these three just go up together, that kind of thing. So we will see. Mitake Yumi could stay the same spots. Toki Hayate could stay the same spots. And that's going to be the theme of it now, isn't it? We could scooch up Gonoyama. Shonano Umi could stay the same spot. We do have Hitoshi falling down for these Juryo promotions, though. And then on the other side of the Banzuke, Takeru Fuji, we already have him moving down, out for injury. Meisei, 5 and 10 from Maegashira 13. I don't know, maybe he falls out too, and they do make room for Asahakuru 13 and 2 Yusho from Juryo. So let's ask the Banzuke about that too. Juryo 11, 13 and 2. Doesn't happen too often in history, but Amakaze made it up to Maegashira 13. Ichihara made it up to Maegashira 16. Later that same year, Chiyo Hakuho made it up to Maegashira 16. So maybe we do see that promotion. Asahakuru possibly bumping down Meisei. Let's see what they think about Meisei. That's Maegashira 13, 5 and 10. Let's see. Well, Maegashira 20 really isn't a rank, so let's not really count those from back in the 50s, but We haven't seen that rank in so long, and I don't think we ever will see that rank again. But Maegashira 15, 16, 17, probably the bottom of the Banzuke right there. Lots of Juryo 1, 2, 3, even all the way down to Juryo 7. That's a little harsh, don't you think? But it looks like Meisei, and I think he will, is going to fall out in favor of Asahakuryu. Above him, maybe Fujiseun 10 and 5, Juryo 5, but I think Asahakuryu has the best shot, and maybe it's because I want to be a little, maybe I want to be a little controversial with my guesses. Maybe I want to be a little dramatic with some of these guys moving up and down. Maybe we want to create some controversy with this Guess the Banzuke, Asahakuryu moving up, Nishiki Fuji, Osho Umi Chiyoshoma. Maybe Fujiseun does move up. Maybe he does instead of Asahakuryu. I don't know, you know? I think if we do this, though, Asahakuryu has to occupy that lowest spot, and we probably have something like Nishiki Fuji, Osho Umi, Chiyoshoma, Asahakuryu. We could even see a Chiyoshoma snub. Meisei stays. Something like that, maybe. Let me actually write that down. Chiyo snub for Meisei, question mark. I don't really know. Sometimes the bottom of this Banzuke is equally difficult to call. So anyway, let's go back to some of these other losers. I have Meisei falling down, Sadano Umi 6 and 9 from Maegashira 14. He could fall on top of these guys. He could fall between these guys. Nishiki Fuji, and then Sadano Umi, and then the rest of these guys, probably. It's, you know, that difficult thing we gotta try working out. And then from there, oh, we still have Asakoryu as well. Asakoryu is not going to be falling down and out. Asakoryu, well, let's maybe actually keep Sadano Umi up here. Asakoryu 6 and 9. From the same rank to kind of separate them. Maybe we do have Shonan no Umi falling a half of a rank to accommodate for Asakoryu. Moving down one rank, though, for that 6 and 9 near the bottom of the Banzuke. It doesn't feel very good. But now we do have a couple of guys left. It looks like I'm already missing somebody, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slots to fill, and I only didn't do these guys over here, so looks like I've already messed something up. Oh no, I have Fujinokawa and Ichiyamamoto off on the side of the Banzuke here, so we'll see where some of these guys go. So, who occupies this Maegashira 8 spot? That is an interesting question. Kinbozan can't move over, and all those guys at 7 and 8 have to stay where they are or move down, and there isn't really someone that can stay up there. Ichiyamamoto only falling 3 ranks, that's not going to happen. Fujinokawa, he has a 6 and 9. The only realistic people that could occupy that spot are our winners down there, Tobizaru, Tomokaze, Ryuden, and Shishi. But it's this is another really awkward spot for these guys, because if we had another loser from above that we could soften their fall a bit, then maybe we slot them in. But Gonoyama 1 and 14, we're not softening his fall. Koto Shoho, Ichiyamamoto, we can't make their falls any softer. Fujinokawa, he's below that rank already. So this is going to be a really awkward call here for who occupies that Maegashira 8 next to Kinbozan. I'm thinking Tobizaru, not just because he's my favorite, but because he is, you know, longtime veteran. He has that 9 and 6 from above a bunch of other guys. And, you know, we've seen crazier promotions. It wouldn't be considered an over promotion. Well, in this context, if you didn't have a nameplate, you could say, yeah, that's an over promotion, especially compared to some of the other guys that might not be getting that nod. But at the same time, these other guys are going to be over promoted too. Like, we're going to have Tobizaru moving up to this Maegashira 8 spot. I think Shishi is going to leapfrog Ryuden at the least. Tomokaze, maybe not. So maybe Tomokaze moves up to that Maegashira 9, Shishi to the Maegashira 10, Ryuden to the Maegashira 11. And then Fujinokawa and Ichiyamamoto near the bottom here. It fits in pretty nicely, but That is the problem with having so many of these guys at 7 and 8 is there's really nothing we can do about over promoting people above them. They can't move up. The only time a 7 and 8 moves up is if someone above them retires. And maybe a couple people above them retire, you know? Like, that's not a situation that's happening here. But at the very least, looking at the very top of the Banzuke, I am pretty comfortable with what I have up to about my... I don't know why this demon slot machine game keeps showing up. Maybe it's because I'm using Google Chrome and it doesn't have ad block. But like these top ranks, they look good to me. Up to like Onokatsu, Chura no Umi. After that, Abi and Atami Fuji falling down next to each other feels more like a necessity. Tobizaru's not going to leapfrog them. And, you know, this does happen a lot of times where it feels like there's a hard line in the Banzuke where it's like, yeah, these guys will stay above this rank and these guys will not go above this rank. That's what Maegashira 6 kind of feels like. Or, you know, Onokatsu staying the same spot. Chura no Umi pushes up there with a 9 and 6 record because everyone else that has winning records has moved up. Everyone with losing records has moved down past them or into comfortable spots above. Like, you know, all of the Maegashira 3s, Maegashira 5s, those guys are moving down 100%. Down below Maegashira 6. And then Onokatsu kind of being that anchor in the middle. Chura no Umi slides up next to him. And then there's a gap. There's this gap at Maegashira 7 where only Atami Fuji and Abi could realistically occupy. Because then after that, we have a 9 and 6 from Maegashira 15. Is that really going to go up to Maegashira 7? I don't think so, you know? And then a 7 and 8 from Maegashira 8. I mean, another 7 and 8 from Maegashira 9. Another 7 and 8 from Maegashira 10. Like, those guys are not going to be moving because everyone else around them are so, like, they either lost much bigger or they won big enough that they're not really going to bump them down. So, like, in this case with Shonan no Umi, I think, you know, Sada no Umi and Asakoryu have to move down. So maybe even Nishiki Fuji gets bumped up a little bit more. And then we have Shonan no Umi being the only unlucky 7 and 8 to fall a full rank. And it's not wanting to move over, so let's just do that. And then Asakoryu and Sada no Umi continue their fall too, because, I mean, it's one of those things, right, where a 6 and 9 from Maegashira 14, you either fall one rank or you fall to Juryo. I feel like I've seen that all the time. So let's query the Banzuke here. Maegashira 14, 6 and 9. Like we see here, Maegashira 15, 15, 15, 16, 16, lots of 16s and 17s, so like they stay on. And then you have a lot of Juryos, 1, 2s, and 3s. So it's either move down one rank or get bumped down to Juryo, and they're not getting bumped down to Juryo this time. There's not enough people to really bump them down like that. Like, Mita's not getting there. And maybe Asahakuryu is even getting a little lucky in my eyes. Maybe Fuji Seiyun could make an argument to be up there too, but I don't know. Like, if anything, Hitoshi comes back and Asahakuryu is at 1, you know, maybe Hitoshi just falls a half of a rank. Or Shioshoma occupies that Maegashira 18 spot. Like, this is, I know I pretty much did all of this in 20 minutes, but again, that hard line above Maegashira 6, I feel like I'm not going to get a single one of these incorrect. Maybe I'll get like, oh, Shodai is above Kusano or something like that, you know? Maybe I'll get a half of a point for, like, maybe I mixed up Wakataka Kage and Wakamoto Haru on the placement. I don't know, you know? But, you know, these strong Sekiwake, they're not going to fall too far. Haku Oho does have to move up. Does he occupy Komusubi? Or do they give the nod to Takanosho from Maegashira 7, that 12 and 3 fantastic record? Let's see, Maegashira 7, 12 and 3. Hasn't happened too many times, but Sekiwake, Komusubi, Maegashira 1, Maegashira 2. And then let's check Maegashira 2, 8 and 7. We have a couple of Sekiwakes, a lot of Komusubis, and a lot more Maegashira 1s. So the median, the mean is definitely Maegashira 1 for that Maegashira 2, 8, and 7. I think Haku Oho is going to get snubbed. Oho, I think, gets back up to Sekiwake from where he is. Takanosho takes Komusubi, which is a huge leap, but well-deserved one. Takayasu falls a half of a rank because I feel like they're not going to have Haku Oho displace him because it was only an 8 and 7. But at the same time, Haku Oho did defeat the Yokozuna. He got 2 Kinboshi in a row. So does that mean he'll bump down Takayasu? But Takayasu's an ex-Ozeki, a fan favorite. Like, you could really split hairs over just that. Like, Takayasu, Haku Oho, coin flip. I'm going to write that down. Or Papa Haku coin flip. You could really split hairs over that. But at the very least, I think Wakataka Kage is going to be below Haku Oho. Same with Kirishima. Wakamoto Haru, a 9 and 6, moving up 2 ranks. I don't think he's going to displace those Sekiwake that are falling down. Tamawashi, 6 and 9 from Maegashira 1, falling 2 ranks. Like, Wakamoto Haru going above him, that's natural. That feels natural. Hirado Umi, 8 and 7, moving up only a half of a rank. Maybe Hirado Umi is going to be above Tamawashi, but he will be below Wakamoto Haru. And then there's really nobody else that can go above Hirado Umi. I don't think Uda is going to leapfrog him with a 10 and 5 from Maegashira 8. So maybe even write down, like, M3 coin flip. Like, again, that's splitting hairs for a point, which, I mean, that does matter if you want to get first place, but I do this for fun, even though I'm bad at it. So, let's see. How am I doing on time? I still have 20 minutes-ish to submit my stuff. So, let's see. After that, I think everything above Maegashira 6, that's where those guys are going to be. These guys naturally fall here. And then these anchors, these 7 and 8s in the middle of the Banzuke, nothing is strong enough to really displace them. Kinbozan next to Tobizaru. Tomokaze was a rank below Tobizaru, so staying a rank below Tobizaru makes sense. Same for Shishi. I think he leapfrogs Ryuden, and then Ryuden, I mean, they're all climbing up together. Maybe Shishi leapfrogs Tomokaze and displaces Daisho. So let's, like, Shishi above Tomo and Daie. Like, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to check other people's guesses. But then Roga, Mitakayumi, Toki Hayate, they feel natural right there. We go into Fujinokawa, his 6 and 9. He's going to be falling 3 ranks. Maybe he displaces Roga and stays at Maegashira 11. Maybe. I'll write that down too. Fujinokawa, Roga, coin flip. I'm a big fan of Fujinokawa. I've been really enjoying his sumo. Ichi Yamamoto, 4 and 11 from Maegashira 5. Koto Shoho is going to be below Ichi Yamamoto. And again, they might bump these 7 and 8s. They might bump them. But I feel like they won't. Because their placement on the Banzuke from their fall is already natural enough that they don't need to displace them. Like, we don't need Ichi Yamamoto at Maegashira 12. Because Mitakayumi, with his 7 and 8, I mean, he could stay there too. Koto Shoho, he had a 3 and 12 from Maegashira 5, falling to Maegashira 14. You know, that's a -9 on a -9. You know, it works out perfectly by the math. Sure, he could displace Toki Hayate. Maybe they're even cruel enough to bump Mitakayumi down a full rank, Toki Hayate down a half a rank, to put Ichi Yamamoto and Koto Shoho above them. And that's where all these problems are going to come in too. I am of the opinion that these 7 and 8s will stay where they are. The Sumo Association might see those 7 and 8s, might see Koto Shoho 3 and 12, be like, yeah, Koto Shoho can be above those guys. Because, like, Koto Shoho, if you want to look at his competition from that tournament, he did fight 3 of the Sanyaku men, but other than that, he didn't really do anything. Like, if he were to go through the gauntlet, then maybe they are kinder to him. But he only went through 3 guys. That's not the full gauntlet. He didn't fight Kotozakura. He didn't fight Aonishiki. He didn't fight a lot of those guys in the Sanyaku ranks. So I feel like they're going to be that much harsher on him, you know? Konoyama, 1 in 14. I mean, I feel like he deserves to be at the bottom, as far down as he can go with a 1 in 14. But that's the thing for him. He did go through the gauntlet. The problem with that is, though, he went 1 in 14. So they're not going to be kind to him no matter what. He's not going to fall below Sadana Umi, sure, but he will fall below Koto Shoho because he's only 2 ranks above with 2 more losses. He's definitely falling below Ichi Yamamoto and Koto Shoho. And yeah, I mean, he needs to be below them. Nishiki Fuji being promoted with his 11-4 from Juryo 3. Maybe Maegashira 15 is too high. Maybe Sadana Umi and Asakoryu only fall down 1 rank as opposed to 1.5 ranks. I'll write that down to Nishiki above Sada Asako. Above or below. So this time around I have a lot of notes because, again, you could really split hairs on a lot of these. I feel like there are going to be a lot of answers, and there are going to be a lot more wrong answers than there are right answers. I was going to say I would look through my sumo chat to see who else made some guesses for their Guess the Banzuke, but that chat is full to the brim with people talking about the London tournament, which I did see. Again, I mentioned it earlier, but I did see a little bit of the London tournament. The problem with it was that's the time me and the wife go to the gym. So, I watched a couple matches on my phone, and I was like, yeah, they're going half speed. I'm not really going to care. I'm not going to be watching this too intensely. But, yeah, I don't think anyone did. Maybe one person did post a couple guesses in my Discord, but I just can't find them. So let's go to the refugee server and see if there are any guesses over here. Which someone posted Roundabout. I really like Roundabout. But I don't know. Is everyone just holding their cards close this time? Okay, so this one's in Japanese, so I'm not going to be able to read it, but it's a magazine's guesses for the Kyushu Basho. I'll do my best. They do have Takanosho up to Komusubi. Takayasu also at Komusubi. Aku Oho, Maegashira 1, Wakamoto Haru. Maegashira, no. They have Wakamoto Haru up to Maegashira 1, whereas I don't. So that's where I'm having a discrepancy with this right now. I do want to go to the bottom too. They have Meisei surviving at the bottom. They have Chiyoshoma making it up. So this magazine has Meisei surviving at the bottom. I recognize Chiyoshoma. Sadano Umi down to Maegashira 16. Let's see. Gonoyama down to Maegashira 15. I have him at 14. I guess the question here is, do they have Nishiki Fuji on here, which... Or Asahakuru, rather, which let me, Okay, that's what it looks like. Looking for the Haku. They don't have Asahakuru making it up the Banzuke. They have him at Juryo 2. So maybe I jumped the gun there. Maybe I do keep Meisei there. I think I'm going to take the advice from here. We'll keep Meisei at Maegashira 18. Let's see. I'm going to keep trying to... Let's see. Ichi Yamamoto, Maegashira 9. Really? They have Ichi Yamamoto, Maegashira 9. I have them all the way down to Maegashira 13. Fujinokawa, they have him at Maegashira 10. I have him at Maegashira 12. Abi and Maegashira 7. Atami Fuji at Maegashira 7. So yeah, that's what I was kind of talking about. Atami Fuji and Abi is going to be the anchor in the middle right now. Above that, I'm surprised I recognize enough of these names. They have a bunch of the 7 and 8s staying in the same spot too. We could see Roga, Mitake Yumi staying in those same spots. They do have Toki Hayate moving down half of a rank for Ryuden. So they're not promoting Ryuden that high. Where's Tobizaru? Tobizaru is up to that Maegashira 8 spot that I have him at, next to Kimbolzan. But then they have Midori Fuji staying in the same spot next to Ichi Yamamoto. So they're kinder to these demotions and a little unlucky on Tomokaze Shishi. I kind of understand that, but I don't agree with it. So we want to look at down here. Let's see. Yeah, they have Nishiki Fuji up to Maegashira 14, actually. Ryuden right above that. If Shonan no Umi staying the same rank, whereas I have him falling. Yeah, the real chaos is going to be below Maegashira 6. Above Maegashira 6, you're splitting hairs. Below Maegashira 6, it's a hellfest. Like, these guys, they have Ura, it looks like, at, where is Ura? That him, Maegashira 3, I have him at Maegashira 4. They have Hirata Umi over as well. They were rough on Tamawashi. They have Tamawashi down to Maegashira 4, which maybe, no, maybe. Maybe. I'm surprised I was able to parse this as much as I have. Again, that's just me watching too much sumo. But that was put out like right after. Here is let's see. That's just pure math, so that's not even completed. But trying to look for other people's guesses, and I don't know if just people aren't posting their guesses anymore, or if they're just keeping their guesses close to their chest. But I guess all we have to go on is this magazine, and well, I have a lot of discrepancies against this Japanese magazine, but for the most part, you know, we're all gonna guess differently. I probably should take the advice of a Japanese magazine that's probably been doing this for years, as opposed to myself, who's only been doing it for 5. But I'm comfortable with what I have. No, I'm not. I'm not comfortable with any of these picks. Look, I have so many notes over here. I'm going to get 0 points. You know how it goes. And let's actually submit this guess. So, before I forget, let's submit these guesses. There is 10 minutes to the deadline. Leo Dickinson, Leo DVTube. Then we have Onosato, Hoshoryu, no. You always have to remember to fill out the nuns, which I've done before, and it'll just remind you, like, hey, oh, you forgot to fill in these blank spaces. Like, yeah, I meant to leave them blank, because nobody's gonna be there. Let's see, Takanosho, Takayasu. And this is where, if you can hear me typing, my wife is like, oh, you're so hot because you can type without looking. Aku Oho, Wakataka. It helps that it autofills after like 3. Come on, help me out with the Wakamoto. There he is. Maegashira 3, we have Tamawashi and Hirata Umi. Maegashira 4, we have Uda and Oshoma. then Kusano and Shodai, then Onokatsu and Churano Umi, Atami Fuji Abi, Tobi Kinbo, Midori Tomokaze, Daie Shishi, Ryuden, can't have Ryuden twice, Roga. Maybe I am being too kind to these promotions and too harsh on those demotions, Fujinokawa, Ichiyamamoto, Koto Shoho. But I'm not going to second guess myself now. We're already in it. Fujinokawa, Mitake Umi, Ichiyamamoto, not Takeyasu, Toki Hayate. Takeyasu's not going to fall with a 7 and 8, down all the way to Maegashira 13. Koto Shoho, Donoyama, Nishiki Fuji, Sada no Umi, Asakoryu, Shonan no Umi, and then no, not Oshoma, Oshoumi, Chiyoshoma, Meisei, and Nun. And we sent that in. And you know I'm going to get last place, so don't do anything that I did. Thank you very much for watching. For those of you interested, I am planning on being on the Sanyaku Brothers podcast, so if you don't follow them already, I'll try to remember to leave a link in the description down below. But the Sanyaku Brothers, another sumo podcast that is, I've been having a rough time of it recently because of scheduling issues, but I'm going to plan on being on their podcast before the start of the next tournament, and the start of the next tournament is going to be very early. You got to remember that, because that first Sunday is the 2nd, so the second Sunday is November 9th, a very early Kyushu Basho. So we'll be seeing you all there. We will only have one channel strike here on the main channel. Don't forget to follow the backup channels for that live sumo. And who knows, maybe we'll have a lot more people joining in because of how much fun that London Basho was. And if you have anyone talking about that London Basho, be like, hey, look up LeoDickinsonSumo for more sumo highlights. And so that's going to be it from us. I have this submitted with 10 minutes ago, and I'm going to upload this right now, so you're going to hear this in about an hour, because this video is about 40 minutes long, and it takes about 10 minutes to upload it, and then it's going to take you guys a couple of minutes to find it and click on it, so it's not going to be too outdated. Or it'll upload in 1 minute, and you can skip it to the end to see my guesses. But before I continue rambling, and so I can enjoy the fact that my son is still asleep in his nap, I'm going to go play Dynasty Warriors. Have a good one.